Well, we've just got a beautiful day today. God sent me like this because the kids can relate with me. I listen to them. Go for a cruise down the harbour, the wind conditions are good. And if any bad men or nasties want to get them, calling all captains, we need some support. They've got to deal with me, that's my job. The Goddess of Love sent me from Cyprus. Able and willing, they want to support me in youth work. Here I am, alone. I'm a Greek kangaroo from Cyprus. Aphrodite sent me here.
Trying to sum up Tony is it's quite an enigma. He's an intense dude. He gets stuff done, and he's one of the most passionate dudes that I've met.
Now this mural is Michelangelo's David. They put me on a milk crate and I had to stand like that so they could colour me in. Over here we've got Felix the cat, who's an Australian. He's an Australian cartoon character, not Bugs Bunny, he's Australian. And he's coming down this way, Michelangelo's coming that way, it's going to be a closeout.
He's definitely wears his heart on his sleeve, and that's been a sort of trait that's, you know, endeared him to a lot of people, but also that's a trait that also peeves a lot of people that, you know, aren't really down with what he's doing. But you know, for a lot of us, especially us in the graffiti scene in Sydney, you know, we've got a lot of props for the guy because, you know, he sort of believes in what other people are doing.
So why put the young boys in jail who use spray cans? It's only the modern technology, isn't it? So they're rude. So I sponsored the kids at Redfern, called a place called the Graffiti Hall of Fame, and by 1994, when this mural was produced, in 4 years, we painted 7,000 murals all around Australia. I paid for it.
Now, when I first met Tony, I thought, okay, this dude's an interesting dude, and all of his stories and all that sort of stuff, you're thinking, this can't be true, you know? And then you find out, like, you know, he used to be a racing car driver and used to do all these wacky, crazy things, you know, and you think, friggin' hell, man, the guy wasn't spinning a winner, you know? It's true what he's saying, you know? I
started becoming a full-fledged youth worker in 1990. I abandoned the business world and working for the tax department and the government. I started working full-time for street kids.
Everyone knows him, everyone knows him. Everyone knows him, he's known within the Aboriginal Football Sports Club, been involved in marches and programs that's going around the youth. The youth are still looking for him that he worked with when they was only 14 and 15, they're still looking for him today, and a lot of them are going on 30.
See, the whole thing began in my father having that meat business in Alexandria, that meat export factory in a disadvantaged area. So while I was working there and I was brought up in an affluent society, the Double Bay, Vaucluse area. And as I got closer to Alexandria, I seen all these kids sitting on the side of the road crying. And I live in the best address on earth. I can't close my eyes to kids crying on the street and wondering what's wrong with them.
I thought he couldn't be real. He's a man ready to spend his own money on Aboriginal kids. And he's doing it, pick them up, take them out to the beach all day Saturdays and Sundays and afternoons after school, and he's still doing it today. Looking to take kids out to the beach. He even used his own factory as a dance hall, and he had buses and cars going around picking up kids from all the South Sydney area. He'd have 800 or 900 kids. It was always at his dance parties. It was drug-free, alcohol-free, and he made sure of that it was drug-free and alcohol-free.
Well, I was my father's shadow from 4 years of age. I walked around with him and went to work with him every day. He taught me everything from the age of 4. He took me to the abattoirs and I could pick out the carcasses that we needed with the best quality by the age of 4. So there I was hanging out with Dad, and Dad was a Greek godfather from the 20s, immigrant, came at 14, well respected in Australia for his charisma and his big heart. Because here I am, working with the street kids, helping the street kids with my kindness, and my father approved and loved all the graffiti arts and dance and colour and theatre and culture and everything. He was into all that, even in his old age, in his 80s. He loved it. I took him and parked him in my combi in the middle of a dance party at a rave with 2,000 kids going off with robo scans, and he wanted to get out and do his over the Greek at 80. You know?
He's not afraid to speak his mind. If there's injustice or a bit of corruption going on, he'll say that, and a lot of people, if they are guilty or have guilty consciences, will try to stop him.
I haven't broken any law. Give me my hat. Don't lose my hat. I haven't broken any law.
Well, at times I've got to say that Tony, Tony could have invested the money in the bank, or he could have, sort of bought more property and made him more wealthy. It's hard to say. His fight against the corruption and standing his ground has cost him a lot of his wealth, because people sort of have had their you know, their back's raised a bit, and they're out to, I can say they're out to sort of financially ruin him.
If maybe I am all those things they say and I'm a loser, then like I was saying, that those young friends told me that good energy doesn't dissipate, money can't buy that. And Tony, I am richer than Bill Gates, he can't buy all the love I have. And I said, but how does that help me love when I'm going broke and I'm out the door tomorrow? And you know, 90% of people think that money buys friendship, but love doesn't dissipate. So when I've got no money, all of a sudden, when I'm not alone, I'm broke, but I've still got 1 million young people that want to feed me, look after me. What do I need? Babysit me. They have turns now that I'm some sort of granny, grandpa, or a kid, and all these kids have grown up, and they come and stay at the boat shed on the ferry, and I get young people having tag teams of who's going to look after me and keep my morale up and take me to the art gallery, take me to the dance party, pick me up and take me to the protest. When you've got no money and you put out all that money, you put out all that in time, not just money, time, given direction, all that passion, stood on the front line. If somebody goes to run over your dog, you stand in front of the car. Well, they're going to run over these kids. I'll stand in front of them. They're going to run them over. And that turned into priceless love, that these kids look up to me as something so special that that's more than money can buy. And when you realise that's hit you at the end 20 years later, then I realised that the money factor doesn't matter. It's endless love coming back in dividends.